This is The Download from Sounds Profitable, your daily source for the essential news of the business of podcasting, brought to you by Spreaker from iHeart. I'm Gavin Gaddis. Here's what you need to know for today, Thursday, June 27th. First up, Acast highlights news podcasts in new campaign for UK voters. The UK general election is set for July 4th, which means June is the region's pre-election period. While the government abstains from buying any advertising space on politically adjacent content during this period to remain neutral, Acast is harnessing the interest in political content. According to Acast and Podchaser data, UK politics-focused podcasts have seen a 53% increase in unique listens. The company is currently focusing on recommending politically themed podcasts in the Acast ecosystem, as well as running out-of-home ads in major UK railway stations to target commuters. Next up from Campaign, we interrupt this podcast, ... As Sounds Profitable's recent study Ad Nauseam found, podcast listeners may not be tuning in specifically to hear ads, but the expected number of ads in a given podcast episode is still higher than zero. As Tom Webster notes in the debut webinar, audiences don't hate ads necessarily. They hate bad, irrelevant ads. A key to successful podcast advertising is investing in good creative and keeping both audience and delivery method in mind when creating it. See Webster's latest article, My Favorite Insight from Ad Nauseam. Next up, Time dropped its paywall 1 year ago. Here's what's happened since. It's been a year since Time dropped its paywall in favor of pushing ad revenue over premium subscriptions. While subscription rates have dropped, data shared by Time and Comscore shows ad revenue has increased 14% year over year, while traffic remains relatively flat. For publications focusing ad revenue and exposure over building premium subscribers, podcasts could easily be leveraged for expanding the publication's reach and bring in new audiences as well as generate their own revenue stream. Next up, we're looking at advertising in the Summer Olympics. Advertising as an industry is gearing up for the Olympics, hosted in Paris this year, and that means lots of coverage. Sam Bradley focuses on the programmatic side of the industry. This year's Games is a prime case study for affordable Olympics inventory. Meanwhile, Crystal Scanlon covers NBC Universal's broadcasting strategy as the company with sole rights to sell official Olympic sponsorships in the United States, as well as in media in the US. And finally, publishers pitch women's sports as advertiser interest grows. Women's sports is facing a new wave of interest from buyers and publishers who are looking to beef up their data and grow that interest further. After the high of March Madness, marketers expressed renewed interest in women's sports, but are worried there wasn't enough inventory to meet ROI goals. One tactic to help alleviate these concerns is bundling women's sports coverage to distinct packages from men's sports. And the wide world of podcasting offers abundant inventory on sports content, women and men's games alike. As for the rest of the news, Hark announces The Conversation, a curated collection of 3 to 5 minute clips of conversations had on a variety of podcasts. Billy Hartman joins Frequency, and CRA appoints Lizzie Young as their new CEO. Be sure to check out the links to every article mentioned right in your podcast listening app or at soundsprofitable.com, where you can also subscribe to the newsletter version. The Download is written and produced by myself, Newton Shadowcotty, Brian Barletta, and Tom Webster. This episode is hosted on Spreaker. For Sounds Profitable, I'm Gavin Gaddis. Download us again tomorrow.